And then I'm a capitalist, dog. I'm not in support
What does
of
that mean?
the government coming out taking care of everything.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna oppose it. Like,
but you want the government to get involved and stop abortions.
Bruh. Woo! Dad, bro, this boy getting cooked. This whole Charlie Cook situation has completely divided America right down the middle. There is no more middle ground. Them days are gone. Now it's either you're far left or you're far right. And here we have a good little back and forth of opinions. You guys have been wanting me to check it out, so we're going to dive into it today. We got Abba from Abba Will Preach, and we got Stevie Knight from Stevie Knight's, Night Talk. Without further ado, let's get into the conversation.
So let's get started. So Stevie, you watched our video and you had some critiques for it. So yeah, let me know what you think we was getting wrong in regards to how we handled this Charlie Kirk situation.
well, I want to keep what I felt was wrong towards the end, but leading up to that, just think it's a differing in opinions, which is fine. That's what we're here for, man. But
so a little background about what's going on. Your boy Stevie Knight called Abba fake because of his take on Charlie Kirk's situation. So here they are going to hash it out. Come on.
it was more like you were talking about how the right wants to, or we need to tone it down. Or I don't want to say we, right?
Nigga, nah. You can say we. Say we. You are of the right. You are of conservative values. Don't disown it now. You gotta own that, dog. Come on.
You felt a way about. I'm assuming what your intent was is focus on the right. Now we need to tone it down, and we're doing the same. And we're doing the same thing that the left was doing, bro. And where I differ in opinion with you as far as this whole situation is that I don't think anything should be toned down if we're highlighting, if we're focusing on the right people. You know what I'm saying? I think that the right versus left is being overhyped, which makes sense because we're divisive as hell in society, man. But the demons are demoning.
Nah, I gotta say, man, just listening so far. On his channel, when he's dolo by himself, he sounds a little bit more confident in being a conservative. But when he's here, he's kind of like playing the fence a little bit when he has Abba on the line. You know what I mean? Let's see if he tightens up.
To zero in on these individuals, and I don't think a toning down at all will work, given the climate.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say I felt some type of way at the beginning when we're focusing on, like, the emphasis of your video was to highlight Charlie, and then you were trying to compare it to other things that may have happened that were similar.
Sure.
And I think that's taking attention away from, the elephant in the room, which is Charlie Kirk situation, which we never had a situation like this happen ever, because of the social media and the fact that everyone was able to see it. You know what I'm saying? And that makes the situation a whole lot different than anything that's happened in the past as far as a murder of this magnitude.
What?
And
his point is, I guess we've never seen an assassination attempt, take place in real time because of social media and everything being blasted everywhere. And for some reason that makes it more important, or that makes it more impactful, or that makes it more of relevance. We've seen government folks assassinate MLK. We've seen government folks assassinate, Malcolm X. This ain't nothing new as far as America. This ain't nothing new. Assassinations ain't nothing new in America, man. I'm wondering why he's acting brand new, like he's never, this is his first time experiencing something like this. Kind of crazy.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna keep rolling now. I'll let you.
No, go for it. If you're still on this one, I just didn't want to move from this topic, but
I don't want to roll out like 10 things and have you.
Yeah. It's always better to go point by point. I think so.
Yeah, maybe we should go one for one.
Yeah.
So, it felt like, from my end, it was a right versus left type of thing, and you know what I mean, from how you were describing it, right's doing this, the left's doing this, and you're saying it's hypocritical of the right to be complaining about the same things that the left is doing, or what the right is implying that we're doing. And to me, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about, we isolate, the evil, the degenerate shit that's going on. And when we try to minimize or just bring up the comparison between Charlie Kirk and everything else, it minimizes the tragedy that everyone just witnessed and like the impact it had on everyone, man. So I feel like it's deflecting from it, and it's like Charlie Kirk, his tragedy was important, but other things that's happened, and the right was doing the same thing. So it's kind of like, no, it is to me, it's minimizing, what happened.
Sounds like there's not enough accountability here. All right. In my opinion, their rhetoric has been the most violent rhetoric I've seen in the past 4 years. This Trump campaign, as of this term, has been the most divisive, dehumanizing rhetoric I've ever heard a president, conduct himself and push forward, man. So even when you turn on Fox News, when you got the host talking about we should basically take out the homeless to solve that problem.
Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
That's a news anchor on one of the biggest media stations in the world, and he's telling you it's okay or it's approved to take out somebody because they're homeless. And then fast forward a couple of days, somebody does just that.
We are following a developing story this morning as police remain on the scene of a mass shooting at a homeless encampment in Minneapolis.
Police say 8 people are hurt at this point, 4 of them with life-threatening injuries, and the city says it will clear out that encampment as soon as possible.
So it's like, from my perspective, the right, bro, there's no accountability there. There's nobody standing up on their own side and saying, wait a minute, we're going too far. Wait a minute, you probably shouldn't have said that. Wait a minute, that may end in chaos. You know what I mean? Especially when you dive into all this censorship they've been going on, trying to cancel your boy, but he came back thanks to the people casting their vote with their wallets.
Walking out to a thunderous standing ovation overnight, Jimmy Kimmel returning to late night TV after a week off the air.
There's no accountability on the right, man. There's none at all, man. Y'all just out here running rampant. I ain't gonna lie. Come on.
So I think there's 2 points in there. One being the hyper focusing on right versus left. You felt like we did that too much, and the second part is minimizing Charlie Dess's murder. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to go to the first point. I did have that in my notes. I think in your video at around 2-minute mark, you said that I was minimizing Charlie Kirk's murder by comparing it to other political violences or like contextualizing it in the way that I was doing.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm minimizing it. I disagree with that characterization for a few reasons. I think it's natural when someone dies that we try to understand why. That's why people love murder mystery. That's why people, every time someone dies, they want to know who the perpetrator is. They want to know who their motivations are.
Right.
Because murder is generally something that we see as incredibly heinous. And so understanding what led to that is always important. When I'm not comparing, this is not the right word. What I'm doing is that I'm explaining away how our society led to this moment and this man, because he wasn't murdered in a vacuum. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was an individual who's incredibly troubled, and he decided to go out and murder somebody for their political opinions, their affiliation, maybe because they had mentally ill issues. Who knows? But
right.
There's a landscape. And there's a lot of things that lead up to this murder. It's always important to examine these things, because if we don't understand how we got here, then we're going to be doomed to repeat it.
And just to add on to that, we got to remember, man, who were the first people screaming out the very second, the chance they got that, oh, the shooter was from the left? Who were those people? The shooter is from the left. The shooter was a Democrat. The shooter was a woke. He was a liberal. Who were those people, man? Before the suspect even before the dad turned the suspect in, his son, you know what I mean? You have people on the right basically claiming they knew who the suspect was and they knew his party affiliation enough to go on the internet and announce it as if it was a fact. And the sad part about it, millions of people believed it. Millions of people making songs about it. Oh, he's a Democrat, liberal. Shit was crazy.
Shot down and he was barely 31. Another woke coward took a life with a gun.
Shit was crazy. Come on.
It's never, in my opinion, a bad thing to contextualize any world event, provided you contextualize it fully, right? That or at least you try to, because without context, then all that happened was that someone was shot. Context is everything.
Well, to that point, that makes total sense what you're saying, but to me, it didn't come across that way when you voiced that in the video. It seemed like you were trying to highlight the divide between the right and the left, or whoever the instigators of it are. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't seem like you were trying to get to a root of the problem or how we trying to fix it. It's like, like I said before, I mean, what you're saying now, if you had voiced it that way in the video, I wouldn't have had the mindset that I have in regards to what you said. But in the video, it didn't come across to me like that at all. It felt like,
well, right now the pervasive narrative, and this is where it comes to the left versus right.
Nah, man, nah. Stevie, man, stand on your shit, bro. Stand 10 toes down, man. I didn't even watch his video. I'm gonna have to go back and watch his video, him calling Apple fake and all this stuff. But and now that you're in front of him, you gotta stand 10 toes. Say what you feeling and speak that. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, you're saying something cool now. Well, I kind of agree with you saying now. So, we cool now. Nah, man, say how you feel. Come on.
The pervasive narrative that's online and that's being espoused by some of the most important people in our political, stratosphere, is that violence of a political nature is solely left wing. Okay. And I remember at about 3 minutes, 29 seconds, when Matt Walsh is talking in your video, you said that I was interpreting what he's saying. When he's talking about good versus evil, it's time for the righteous to prevail over the forces of evil. You were saying that I was making a left versus right thing, right? But that's just not true.
Hold on, well, let me make a correction, because you go further on in the video. I recognize that point. I said, hold up, if Matt Walsh is doing that, highlighting the left like this, that's unfair to do so. Then I went on to saying this makes the left look bad. It makes the transgenders look bad. It makes everybody affiliated to this look bad. It's like guilty by association. It's not the right thing to do. It should be a good versus evil thing, right? But then I went on, because you had a couple other videos of people uttering or echoing the same sentiments as far as, righteous and good and evil. But I did highlight Matt Walsh in that video specifically saying, all right, I see that he is describing the left in this manner, and that shouldn't be the move.
Right. But again, at about like 6 to 7 minutes in the video, you kind of do it again where you say that, that's how I'm interpreting a lot of this narrative of good versus evil. But it's not just Matt Walsh. Ben Shapiro said that most of the political violence today is flowing from left-wing movements and ideology. Elon Musk was on Twitter. He said the left is the party of murder. If they won't let us live in peace, then our choice is to fight or die.
That's a fact.
Alex Jones said the right-wingers are in a war during a live stream. And he said that the left has been put a bullseye on Trump, and he put a bullseye on his supporters. President Trump himself, during an interview, let's see here. Let me pull up the clip, because I think it's just important to me to get the exact words that he said. On Fox and Friends, he says, we have radicals on the right as well. And he says, I'll tell you how, I can send you the clip you wanted. I'm going to just read it verbatim, his quote.
I believe you, though, bro.
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see more crime. The radicals on the left are the problem. So when I'm talking about right versus left, I'm not talking.
That's crazy, bro. When you actually take a step back and zoom out a little bit and look at the landscape in totality, most mass shootings occur from folks on the right.
Welcome to News Nation Now. I'm Alicia Nieves in for Anna Koyman. We are following some breaking news that you are seeing right now on your screen. Gunshots ringing out at a church in Michigan, leaving multiple people shot as the building is now up in flames. The attack happening at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc. This is a suburb of Flint, Michigan.
As authorities investigate what led Sanford to commit his sickening crime, former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker told Fox and Friends First that a motive is already in sight.
The FBI has taken the lead. That means they're treating this as either a hate crime or an act of domestic terrorism.
When you look at the data and just the statistics alone, numbers don't lie, man. You know what I mean? And so it's this propaganda machine on the internet right now of just trying to push this rhetoric that leftists and far left folks are these radical folks who are just going around doing all these heinous situations. I mean, just in the last 2 weeks, we've had more school, you know what I mean? We've had another church, you know what I mean? All by the right. I mean, it's no accountability. But so everything he's saying right here, all facts, man. Let's keep it going.
About someone in a vacuum or someone at home. I'm talking about the most important people in our political discourse, framing most of this violence as I only left. And what you did in the video, and I did appreciate, is that when we said, if you look at the numbers, people got mad because I quoted the ADL, but there's all sorts of things from FBI statistics to different organizations who track terrorist attacks. Most of it comes from religious extremists and then right-wingers. Left-wingers at the bottom of that list, especially over the last 10 years. So I'm not trying to frame this as left versus right. That's the plate that's already been set. Since Charlie Kirk died, the right has not stopped politicizing his death. They haven't stopped using it for fuel for their attacks on the left. And so in that climate, you're asking people to not talk about left versus right, but if the left doesn't, then the just right gets to make the narrative that they're the violent ones.
And that's the most important key factor right there. It's like if the left stays silent and just try their best to just stick to the truth and ignore the nonsense, what you got to understand is about media, man. It ain't about you being right. It's about who typed it up and sent it first. If people read a headline from a somewhat trusty news organization, they're going to believe what they read. They're not going to do not a damn drop of research on their own. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so it puts the left in a situation where we got to fight back. You know what I mean? We have to be as aggressive in, putting information out there and keeping it factual, because the right, they don't care about no facts. They don't care about no stats. They care about manipulating their followers and trying to convince them that the decisions that they're making currently in our country are going to pay off in the end. Farmers are already losing their farms. People are already losing their businesses. We already losing jobs. The unemployment rate is still going up right now. So it's like, it's a facade. Everybody's in this, trance where it's like they're not waking up and they're just coping and, and feeding off their own hatred. And it's like, bro, if people were just to unlock from that kind of mindset, this racist, bigoted, misogynistic mindset, and focus on the future and focus on trying to build something with one another versus all this hatred and trying to pin accountability on other people, we would go far as a country. Right now, we're not number one no more. And that's just not my opinion. China taking over. China owns how many acres in America? Buying up how many farmers' crops? China's taking over. They're in the lead in tech. They're in the lead in agriculture, and they're buying up our land. You know what I mean? And right now, what we're witnessing is people are so blinded with hatred and racism right now. They're okay with somebody else being number one as long as these black folks ain't coming up, or as long as these Latinos ain't coming up, as long as these immigrants ain't coming up and passing me, because, I'm entitled. But in reality, bro, we already got passed. We're no longer number one, man. And we're going downhill ever since your boy Trump took office. We're going downhill, making all of that the worst decisions. It is what it is. Come on.
And it's just not true.
Well, my opinion is that both should submit. It's not a left and right thing. It's an evil versus good thing. You know what I mean? And and then it's me watching you, so I'm expecting that to be that should be the point. You know what I mean? It's like what you're doing is adding just, fuel to the fire to what you're saying everybody else is doing. Like, you're highlighting the hypocrisy of people complaining about what the left does, essentially what the right is doing the same thing. You know what I mean? But, with that, like I said, with that the Matt Walsh clip, I specified I definitely could tell he was highlighting the left. Well, all that shit is fucking wrong. And I said that in the video.
I agree.
I said that in the video, right? I said that it's not a left versus right thing. It makes everybody look bad. We need to focus on the motherfuckers actually making things horrible for everybody, the extremists, the radicals, all that. You know what I mean? That's what my focus was. I feel like that's what the focus should be for everybody.
Yeah, and I did have that noted in some of the things that I liked that you did. I did appreciate that you actually said that, because a lot of people are not saying that, or they're just avoiding the topic entirely. But you have to understand, when I'm watching this video, when I'm watching the discourse, I'm looking at things in totality. So when I'm talking about...
What video are you talking about? When you say you're watching the video, what video?
I think I was looking at a lot of the political coverage in regards to this. I've been looking at the people who are responding, everyone who's been talking about this, and how the public is talking. If you spend time online, they're not talking about this as like both sides. That's not a lot of the discourse. A lot of the discourse, especially from the right, is that they're just saying essentially the left is the violent party.
Right.
Go check out those comment sections. Go check out a lot of the discourse from the
But that's going to happen every time that happens. Every time someone from the left does something crazy, they're going to highlight the left. When the right does something, they're going to highlight the fucking right. It just that comes with the territory.
But that does not mean you can't hold people accountable for the truth, though. You have to hold these news sources for the truth, not just putting a blanket statement and just blaming somebody for something, or blaming a left or a right for something that they had nothing to do with, or blaming the trans, or blaming, you know what I mean? You can't just blame a group off a decision that one particular person made and cast a blanket over these other folks to try to convince your folks that their life means less. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? And again, he's not really taking accountability for that. If you're on the right side of things, you have to be like, all right, our rhetoric has to, maybe we need to dial it down a little bit. I mean, look at the last 4, 5, 6 school pew-pews. You know what I mean? This is our people. This is our voters. This is conservative folks. You know what I mean? And we have to dial it back a little bit. But here he is. He's not really taking accountability, bro, for his own party stuff. And it is what, even in the beginning of the video, I'm not really on the road. I'm not really, yeah, you are. And it's okay to be, you know, vote for who you believe is going to make the change and have faith in that. But you have to, as an individual, hold your own party accountable when they are making bad decisions. You have to hold your own news sources accountable when they are printing false information and propaganda to harm another group of people, especially if you're dealing with the minority. It is what it is. Come on.
Right, but it should be noted that we should correct those narratives and say that these are not one-sided things. If you watched our video, we didn't say violence is only right-wing. We said there's plenty of people who've murdered people on the left, from the left. And we said that. But the dominant narrative right now is that left-wingers are the violent ones. And they're obviously, especially with the most recent murder, it makes sense that it's going to be the dominant narrative. But it's important to not let those lies be able to be spread and to say, actually, guys, you're wrong. In fact, this year, there's been other people who've been killed. You said we were minimizing his death by bringing up these other murders, but those deaths are part of this discussion. The same thing that led to those people being killed is the exact same thing that led to Charlie Kirk being killed. Damn. And it's important to know that, because if we don't understand that, then all this is just going to happen again. You said it was different in your video because Charlie Kirk died on camera and nobody was supposed to see that. You remember that you saying that? Yeah. Right. To me, I understand that the fact that he died on camera makes it much more graphic, much more in your face. But at the end of the day, murder is murder. Dying is dying. Someone is victimized.
But it's the effect that it has on society is not the same. In a vacuum, it's the same. But if people were able to see that video until the end of time now,
sure,
right, they're able to see that man go out the way that he did, and knowing up until this, I can't compare someone else that had the amount of influence Kirk had. You know what I mean? And to have, if he hadn't been murdered in front of everyone at once, your analogy, your comparison will be fair, man. But
okay, can I ask you something?
You can't minimize
if Kirk was not killed on camera,
right?
If Kirk's not killed on camera, is this situation more or less tragic?
Right.
It's less tragic.
So dying on camera makes a murder worse?
No, not the murder worse, but the effect that has on the people is worse because everybody can see it.
It makes it different. But from a moral standpoint, it's the exact same. There's no difference morality. It's just more shocking.
It's a different conversation. I'm talking about tragedy. Morality is the same. I'm talking about the effects it's having on society.
Yeah, but if I'm talking about other murders, I'm talking about the moral aspect of it. But that doesn't mean that we can't contextualize it with those other murders. You say it's not comparable, but I disagree. They died for the same reason. They died for the exact same reason.
If you had related that way, trying to bring up the similarities and how you conveyed it just now, it would make more sense. But that's not at all how you conveyed it in the video. It came from, a leftist bias type of perspective from my end, that you were trying to minimize it by bringing up other similarities. You didn't bring up you didn't bring anything up about it being moral or same morally. You were just saying to summarize it, you know, Kirk died, everybody else died, and this happens with political violence.
Yes, because what I'm getting at is not how he died, or like in front of who that he died.
Right.
What I'm focused on is why was he killed. Okay, so let me say I agree with you. You know, let's do a different exercise. Let's say I agree with you.
And to be honest, man, I think what happened to him because of his own rhetoric, man. He was so focused on black crime and trans folk and gays, you know what I'm saying? All these other ethnicities and sexualities. He wasn't focused on one of the biggest problems right now in America, which is, you know, school pew-pews and, you know what I mean, those type of situations. And how the whole thing unfolded is such irony, bro. It's like you spent a career downplaying black folk. You spent a career downplaying, you know, people of different color, different races. You spent your career doing that, trying to bring up false statistics and try to link them together to say, look, black people are the problem, only to then be taken out by someone from your own race. And one of the biggest things that he spoke up about was the whole George Floyd situation. And I even see people making memes about George Floyd to this day, comparing this is what happened when George Floyd died, this is what happened. And it's like, the irony of that is you spent your whole career trying to put him down, and then basically y'all both were taken out of this world. Not in similar fashions. One was murdered. No, y'all both was murdered. Straight up. You know what I mean? And y'all got the same birthdays, which is crazy. Think about that. That's crazy to me.
These are different to a degree. So what's your point? We shouldn't contextualize his murder?
Well, in your video, it didn't feel like you were contextualizing. If I felt personally that you contextualized it, trying to get to the root of a problem, then we wouldn't be here today. But I felt like your intent was to minimize Kirk's death by bringing up all these things that happened.
I would argue that you are minimizing his death by not contextualizing it properly. If you don't talk about why something happened and how we got here, then all you're doing is just describing a tragedy.
I'm talking about why. I'm just focused on your video.
Yes, but if you're going to counter my narrative and say that I'm wrong for contextualizing it the way that I did, or you don't like the way I contextualized
but you're saying you're contextualizing it now. When I watched it, I didn't think you were contextualizing it. I just thought that you were minimizing it.
That's fair. I disagree with that. I think I talked about how we got here. I definitely said that in the video. I talked about the fact that there's been a string of political violence over the last 10 years and that this is not a shocking outcome. Kirk being assassinated is not the craziest thing. There's a reason why he had security. There's a reason why I think he was wearing a bulletproof vest. There's been threats on these people. So we have to take that into consideration, understand that this is not something that happened that is out of this world. Even Kirk himself realizes this is a possibility. There's a reason why everyone who does these...
I get your point, but that's not at all my argument, bro.
But that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about in that video, for sure.
Well, I mean, I didn't receive that on mine. If I felt like you were contextualizing it, then, you know...
It's because you're biased, man. You're saying that he was being biased, but even when you're watching his video through your lens, you're being biased. He's telling you what he was talking about in the video, but your vision was so biased on the conservative side, you interpreted his words and what he was trying to say a whole different way. You weren't listening. Apparently.
We're on the same wave as far as, you know, this is what happens when, you know, politics get off the rails. But in the video, like I said, I thought that you were just minimizing it by comparing it to everything else. I didn't feel like there was any contextualizing there. So just got to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And I've watched the video probably 3 more times because, you know, we're having this conversation today, man. And I didn't get it all that you were contextualizing it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that. I was saying those words exactly, contextualizing it, but I think that is what I was doing. But again, we could agree to disagree. So those were, I think, your first 2 disagreements that you had with me. Yeah, you could definitely let me know some other ones that you had for sure.
And I mean, I just get to the meat and the potatoes now, man, because do you feel like you manufactured a narrative on Kirk by showing those snips of him in your video?
Yeah, okay, we can address that because I did have that in my notes as well. I think around like the 20-minute mark, you said I took him out of context, right?
Not even take them out of context. You put your context on it because we let it play. I put the additional clips on it.
Okay, so just for the viewer, there's a clip that we played, maybe of 15 seconds of Kirk on a Jubilee panel. He's talking to somebody. This is a panel about Christians versus, or is it right wingers versus lefties? I don't remember what it was.
I don't know, but it was about abortion.
Okay, it was about abortion, right?
Well,
and Kirk is a very Christian, self-proclaimed Christian. Everybody knows this about him. So in that clip, the woman is asking him a hypothetical where he says, if your 10-year-old daughter was raped, okay, would you force her to keep the child? Is that a fair assessment of the clip?
Yeah.
And then Kirk says yes.
He said yes, the baby will have the baby, or my girl will have the
Okay,
child.
and then you said that we were kind of dishonest with how we did that we clipped him out of context, and then we put our own context, right?
No, I'm not saying you put your own context. You didn't put the entire context.
Okay.
Like you said, you led into it by saying, you said I think I'm not going to recite you verbatim, but it was essentially, I think that Kirk has said some disgusting things as well.
Yes.
And
I played that clip.
Videos.
Yeah, so let's just talk about that first clip, because I remember you taking that first clip and being really shocked. I think, let me just see here, because I did have that in my notes here. Oh yeah, you said that. You said that was really surprising, that you were shocked coming from me, and you called me the king of receipts.
Yeah.
You gotta be, man. You gotta be.
That is
real shit, because I rely, but I know when you giving somebody shit, you gonna have.
Okay. So how do you feel I took that clip out of context?
Because when I see that it's trying to paint Kirk as a monster because he's going to force his 10-year-old daughter to have a child.
Right.
That's what he said. The clip he's talking about, I'm sure you guys have seen it, man, but the clip he's talking about, that's what he said. He said, they went through the whole back and forth. If your 10-year-old daughter got raped and she became pregnant, would you make her have the baby? This fool said, yeah.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was going to give birth, and she would and she was going to give birth and she was going to live, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby? But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delayed.
I mean, that's egregious. You can sit here and try to critique somebody, but at the end of the day, as a father, to say that to your 10-year-old and you would say, yeah, there's no words for that. That's diabolical, bro.
But as somebody who's anti-abortion, that's his stance. He will force his daughter to have the child because he feels as though life is precious or whatever it is. And, he sees the fetus as a life. So he's like, my daughter will have that baby. That's his take.
Yeah, but if you let the rest of the video play, I mean, it's subjective. Everybody's going to feel differently watching that. But if you just have that short video, it makes it seem like he's a monster. I don't care. Anti-abortion, she having a baby. It could be for anything, because my way or the highway or whatever the case may be, bro. Everybody's not informed on Kirk and his reasonings why. And if I think that you let the video play and gives you his reasonings why, people would understand it. They may not agree with it, but they'll understand it, and they'll take a blow away from how they're initially feeling about him being a monster.
Nah, man, there is no understanding, dog. And he did say that. I don't know why you're defending this. That's kind of weird. You know what I mean? But there is no understanding that, bro. There is no meet in the middle on that, man. You're talking about an egregious act. You know what I mean? To a young woman, to an adolescent. Like you're what are you on right now? You ain't making no sense by what you're saying. It's like you're fumbling around with your words, trying to figure out a right way to put it, but you're struggling because there is no right way to put that. It's not correct. It is not right. It's not, right on any kind of moral standards. And it is what it is. Like, what's going on?
Well, they'll see him still as a monster, because no matter how much you explain it from a religious standpoint,
that's your opinion.
But that was my whole point. Do you remember what the greater point of that whole section was? That section was about the fact that some people view him as a monster, including me. I don't like the guy. I didn't think his politics were good. That's my personal opinion. I think I'm free to say that. And I played clips that, to me, showcase his stances on things that I just don't agree with and I think are disgusting. Forcing your 10-year-old daughter to have a baby, okay, that after she was raped, okay? You could say it's great for religious reasons. You could give whatever justification you want. There's nothing in there that took him out of context. His stance was...
It is, because if you having that short snippet, people are not going to know why he's doing it. They're just going to know he's doing it. If he gives justification of why, and he gave very clear reasons of why, that's going to make some people look at it different. You're putting this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like showing a video of somebody shooting somebody in the head, but just randomly, but you figure out
God damn, Stevie, how many hula hoops you gonna jump through, brother, to protect your boy, man? What's going on? What he said was egregious. What he said was horribly morally wrong, dog. There is no dancing around that. We can sit here and play, you know, he was da-da-da-da-da. We have your difference of opinions, but at the end of the day, that's a horrible thing, like mindset to even have, bro. And I mean, you could play the full clip. You can tell me the reasons why. There's no words or sentences you can form and come out your mouth to convince me of a reason why you should let your 10-year-old daughter, who was great by a grown-ass man, force her to have the baby. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, this is crazy, bro. This is 2025, man. It's been crazy.
Of somebody shooting somebody in the head, but just randomly, but you figure out they like killed my mom, then it makes sense.
And the bigger drawback from this whole situation, he has failed to provide context. He's saying, well, you took him out of context, yada, yada, yada. But here you are, you haven't added any context. What is the context? What was the reasoning? You're here before us now. What is the reasoning? What were his reasons as to why he would make his daughter have the baby, bro? You're arguing like, I don't understand, like, you're not thinking with facts, you're arguing with emotions, bro. It's weird.
No, because the people who are following this, or people who are even tuning into this stuff, know that Charlie is a political speaker who's incredibly Christian. So
you're making that assumption, though, bro. Like, you're making that assumption because now, since Kirk has died, there are so many people that are just now learning about Kirk. Okay. There's so many people that didn't know before. There's so many people that didn't know before. So you put that narrative out.
Can I ask you?
This is a big reason why so many people don't like Kirk, because they get so many short reels taken out of context.
But they're not out of context. It's not a context. No, it's not. It's not, Stevie. If someone says, I'm anti-abortion, I'm a Christian, we know why you don't want an abortion to happen.
In that clip you put, he didn't say he was Christian, though. He just said, she just gave an example, and he said, no, she can have a baby. He didn't say he was Christian.
This guy was all over the world.
Where are you defending? And still, you're saying he got all these videos and all these clips, and then he took them out of context. That means if that's your argument, you're gonna have to bring context, my boy. You're gonna have to bring it. Okay, what did he say? What did he mean by when he said that? You can't just say you're taking them out of context, but you don't know what the context is that should be added to change other people's minds about what Ab was talking about. Your argument is 100% emotion right now, bro.
For the news, and he was
constantly making an assumption.
No, I'm not making an assumption. Everybody who saw that clip of him getting murdered knew he was a political speaker who's Christian. There's not a person who didn't see that clip, who didn't see the news reports, who didn't know what he was. You're acting like I took an obscure person.
That's not true. That's not true. You can't speak for everybody in the world, dog.
That's not out of context, boss. That's not out of context.
Because I talk to people now that had no idea who the fuck Kirk was. Now they see him on his timeline going, and they don't know who the fuck he is. That's false, bro.
He has the very standard cookie cutter Christian view on it. There's nothing.
Regardless, you're making the assumption that people know, dog, and that's a dangerous game. You got to give them.
That's not an assumption. That's not an assumption, boss. I'm sorry. Anybody who's following this knows he's a Christian political speaker. I'm sorry, but I'm just not buying that. In fact, everyone's been introducing him as such, so we know why he does not like abortion. I don't need to see 5 minutes.
You know, and a lot of people do know. Everybody doesn't know, dog. And you got to be fair and give the reason why. You got to give the justification why. If you just say he's doing this, they're he's a motherfucker because he's gonna force a 10-year-old to have a fucking daughter. But if you go let the shit play and he gives the fucking girl the business of why he made her look stupid.
All right, what did he say to make her look stupid? You keep reverting back to that, but what did he say? Oh man, they're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one.
To me, I mean,
but that's because you're probably anti-abortion. Am I right?
No, I don't know. I could care less. I respect his stance. I'm not pro. I'm not anti. I respect his stance. I don't agree with it, of course, but I respect it because he's standing on the team.
Okay. But
so why are you going so hard to defend it? What is going on, bro? It's like the very beginning of the convo. You're like, well, it ain't us, it's them. You didn't want to be considered a conservative or a Republican. You didn't want to be considered that at the very beginning of the conversation. Now you don't. Now it's like you're not even for or against abortion, but you're arguing to protect Kurt. Or his character. That, bro, everything is getting weird, bro. You know what I'm saying? You haven't said a fact yet, to be honest with you, bro. You haven't said a fact. We are 22 in this joint, and you haven't said a fact yet. Come on.
My point still 100% stands. At the end of the day, if you are going to force a 10-year-old to have a baby because you believe abortion is wrong, it's okay for people to say you're a disgusting person. And other people can agree with your stance and say you're cool. My entire point was...
That wasn't my argument. My argument was you took about the context. People can say what they want to say, but
okay.
about the context, you're manufacturing a narrative.
I'm not manufacturing
the
narrative.
Context,
the narrative
bro.
was very clear. He's a Christian man. He's against abortion. Super basic.
You didn't have Christian in that clip, though.
I didn't have to because everyone knows who he is. But
everybody does not know. Look at.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree. We'll agree to disagree. But I think that's not taking someone out of context. If someone says I'm a Muslim, if someone says I'm a Muslim and I'm a no. I think you're reaching. I think you're definitely reaching. But it's okay.
How am I reaching?
You're reaching.
How am I reaching?
He's the most
because you're trying to pinpoint one little aspect of a word that he didn't include in his clip, and because he didn't include the word Christian in his clip or tell people he's a Christian, that took him out of context completely, bruh. Nah, bruh. No, sir, that's not gonna fly, bro. That ain't gonna work. Come on.
Viral person right now.
Narrative, bro. The girls. He said, "I'm gonna force the 10-year-old to have a fucking baby." That's it.
No.
That's all everybody gonna see. There's no more context. You didn't give a motherfucker the opportunity to explain why.
No. He's the most viral person in the world. People know he's a political commentator. They know he's Christian. I'm not buying that, but we'll agree to disagree. That's not taking someone out of context. If you're not an unknown person, we know where you're standing. We know what you're there for. But we'll agree to disagree. This is another point you made, and this is one I thought was crazy. You played the other clips of Kirk. You kind of said there's nothing bad about this when he said he wanted Biden to be executed or given the death penalty. You don't think that people should hate somebody like that, or some people might hate somebody for that reason? For saying violent things like that?
Yeah. That's their opinion.
Another point that you made, I played a second clip, and this is probably one of the wilder clips. A young man goes up to Charlie Kirk during that debate, and he says to him, "Hey, what do you think about school lunches for kids?" And Charlie laughs him. He says, "There's no starvation in America. We have an obesity problem. Nobody here is going without food." And then you agreed with him. You said there's no starvation in America. Go get food stamps. You can get food at churches. There's no reason to starve. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there's no reason to starve in America. It's like 1% of households have like technically a hunger issue, bro. But people are not starving to death in America, bro. Motherfuckers are fat as hell.
Okay.
That's a fact.
And see, this is the problem I have with like people who are pro-life, and not you specifically, but people like Charlie Kirk. They're so obsessed with keeping fetuses alive. They pretend it's like this big virtue. And then when a child is born, they're like, fuck you, your parents take care of you. It's actually probably one of the most hypocritical, and this is why I think Charlie Kirk is probably a shitty person to me, is that he spent all this time being anti-abortion, but when it comes to every government initiative that's meant to protect kids and keep them good, he was always against it. And to me, it's like, what's the fucking point of keeping this fetus alive if when it comes out, you're like, yo, fuck you, kid. And that's what he did. He said that guy was...
He said, fuck you, kid?
No, he did it, but he might as well have when he's constantly championing everything that's anti-public sector, or sorry, government-involved taking care of kids. Damn. Like even you saying there's no starvation is like so disingenuous. If you just Google it, there's like so many kids today here in America. You could look it up, the statistics, that have malnutrition, that have food scarcity, that have all these problems. It stunts their growth. It fucks them up in terms of their academic success. And for you guys to sit there and think that food lunches for kids is a crazy idea and parents should take care of them. Some parents are dog shit. Some parents don't take care of their kids. And so that's why these school lunches happen, so that kids who go to school get a meal. But people like Charlie Kirk, and then you did the same thing, are like, oh, the parents take care of it. That's fucking stupid. And I'm like, do you guys even Google this stuff? Do you guys even look into it? But you speak confidently against this stuff that's hurting hundreds and thousands of kids. And I'm like, I don't get it.
Hold on, bro. Damn, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Man. That boy Allen, man. That boy Albert, he held it down on that one, man. And he had a good point there too, man. Like you act like you care so much about the children, you know what I'm saying, being born, and then when the baby get here, man, you don't give a damn about them. You know what I mean? You want to take away the school lunches. Let me tell you something, man. Growing up, I don't know what I would have done. You know what I'm saying? Me and my people would have done if we had free lunches, bro. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, we didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up middle class. You know, we didn't have much at all. You know what I mean? Every insect you could think of, we probably had it in our crib growing up. You know what I mean? So me knowing that, how I grew up as a child and seeing other people, other friends of mine, you know what I'm saying, go through the same struggle, because you got to think about it. The people, you know what I'm saying, the same school, if it's a poor location, it's a poor location. Most of the kids going to be poor. We going to need that lunch. And a lot of times, a lot of my friends, they would come to school, they wouldn't even eat at home. They would just come to school, eat lunch, you know what I'm saying, because they ain't had no food at the crib. And you would wonder why you look to the left and one of your homies is like eating two servings, going back for thirds. You're like, he ain't eating at home, man. People live in this bubble where they don't think this is a reality for a lot of kids. And I got a news flash for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is a life of a lot of people in America right now, man. Everybody ain't rich. Everybody ain't even middle class. A lot of people struggling right now. But you know what I'm saying? If you stay in the bubble, that Republican bubble, you think, you know, everybody got it like that. That's how you gonna act. Like your boy Stevie Knight. Come on.
I'll ask you a question. Which one is higher, the amount of abortions in America or the amount of starving children in America?
Nigga, starving children are not even close. What are you talking about? This is how I know he don't be doing no research. That sentence right there. That question right there.
The amount of starving kids in America.
Damn,
that's
bro.
cap.
That's cap? Did you Google it? Did you Google it?
I don't need to Google it.
You don't need
Google
facts.
it? It's
But you know what?
crazy.
Facts don't care about how you feel about it. I need you to Google it.
Okay.
Go Google.
Somebody Google it in the chat.
Okay.
But I'm not. Let me figure out the best way to articulate this.
And that's a part of the other problem. People are speaking too confidently about shit they don't know shit about. That's a part of the other problem on social media, man. Like, it's okay not to know something real quick and look it up online and pull it up on ChatGPT and educate yourself. But don't just go on here and say crazy statements that you don't know nothing about. That's crazy.
Because you have this anger towards Kirk and me and whomever else because we don't support government. Not even support government assistance. We're saying the parents should do it. But in the reality of the problem, bro, there's so many different ways that people can eat outside of their parents.
What are you talking
There's, food stamps, churches, charities, bro. Like, there's no reason for somebody to starve.
So,
bruh, you expect kids to go downtown, catch a bus, and fill out an application for food stamps, bruh. You expect kids to walk down to the local church, and ain't no telling how far that's a walk, to try to get some food from the church, bruh, or hop in the car and drive to the church. Bro, see, you're detached from reality, brother. It's been a while, man. It's been a while, and it shows. Come on.
Do you want a 7-year-old or 8-year-old to go to get food stamps or go to church?
Telling you.
And get food?
Their parents should go.
What if the parent doesn't want to go? What if their parent doesn't want to go?
You saw in the video I said it, bro. I'll be jealous when I see the amount of money these people have on food stamps, bro. They be running these EBTs up $400, $500, $600, bro.
Bruh. Bro, you generalizing folks, man. You generalizing a lot of folks, man. See, that's how I know you've been on the right for too long. Make sure I believe in what they tell you. A lot of folks, the majority of them folks, they need that. They need that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, there's going to be some folks in the program that are taking advantage of it, but don't let that be the overriding theme of food stamps and government assistance. Don't let that be there's some families out there, bro, they need that. Some kids that need that. There's going to be fraudsters in every category of every sector of business in our country and the world. There is fraud, and that's everywhere. But don't let the people who are committing the fraud blind your reality and make you think there aren't really people who really need that income, really need that help. Listen, man, detached. He detached.
Like there's no excuse for somebody to be broke or to be hungry unless they got they're picky, they're bougie about what the fuck they want to put in their body, dog. But beggars can't be choosers, bro. Like you can't have no filet mignon when you can't afford it, dog.
Okay,
we live in a capitalistic country, dog. It is what it is.
Let's take 2 steps back. All right, let's take 2 steps back. Do you agree with there's a lot of bad parents out there?
Holy
absolutely.
Do you know that there's a lot? Hold up. Do you agree that there's a lot of parents who neglect those children?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that those kids should suffer because they have bad parents?
No.
Okay,
I don't think they should, but bad shit happens.
What?
So wait, you're just gonna let kids suffer when the?
No, I'm not gonna let them, bro, because there's other avenues. Like if they're going to school, this is a hypothetical.
Well, no, hold on. What did you say? If they're
Let
going
them
to school,
go.
what?
Let them go.
If they're
Let-
going to
yeah,
school,
let
they
them
can
go.
get a free
Listen,
lunch there.
If they're going to school, I'm assuming that teachers are aware. They can see someone losing weight. Or they see
But that's what the program's for, Stevie. That's what I'm saying. The program is meant to give kids lunches at school.
No, that's not where I'm going with it. I'm talking about like teachers making calls to get,
To who? Making calls to who, brother? The government. Yo, what is going on with this cat, bruh?
The correct parties involved to address
the government
child to find a potential food for them so they can take advantage of the surplus of food that is available for people in these situations. Like the homeless don't go hungry, bro. They can go get a meal if they want to get a meal.
You're comparing children
Kids
to homeless
adults, bro.
What are we talking about?
What's going
I want y'all
on?
to just think about it. So there's shitty parents out there, okay? And you want teachers to call the shitty parents to be like, hey, be better parents. Or you want to call child services? You want to call child services? You want to put them in foster care?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. So far, Abba is wrapping Stevie up, and he is smoking this dude. I wouldn't even call this a debate, to be honest with you, bro. He is smoking, and he's not being emotional about it. He's just being a logical person from the standpoint of just doing right by other people, as we all should. You know what I mean? Just because we live in a capitalist society does not mean you can't turn around and give back to people or to help out other people, and that's the problem, man. You know what I mean? And folks claiming to be Christian, man, y'all gotta read that book. I don't even read the book for real, but y'all gotta read that book, man. You know what I'm saying? Jesus wasn't like that, man. Jesus would help anybody, bro. He would help anybody, bro. He didn't care what class you were in. If you were on food stamps, if you were a prostitute, he would still lend a hand to help you and try to change your ways. So far, we have gotten, bro, away from reality, man.
It may be better than having the shooty ass parents.
Have you looked into foster care, Stevie? Have you Googled foster care?
But you're describing these parents as ain't shit, bro. Like it is bad shit happens.
I know. I cover them. I cover them every day. There's a lot of ain't shit parents. There's a lot of ain't shit. You cover them. How many videos have you done about baby mamas? How many videos have you done about baby mamas and dog shit parents? If I go to your channel right now, I'll find dozens, hundreds of videos. So you want teachers to call those parents and be like, hey, feed your kids.
You're saying that I'm telling teachers to call the parents. I never said that. I said
that boy getting good. God, rotisserie style. Got him tied up.
They can call parties that do this for a living to find children the resources that they need. Like teachers do this all the time. They'll see a child that may be neglected and they'll make the calls or alert people to, intervene.
You want a teacher. You want to put that responsibility on a teacher? Now we have to see these kids come in and out of class, not only keep their grades up, do their homework with them, create the lessons for them to learn throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they good as far as, their school supplies. Now you want the teachers to be doctors and nurses as well. Don't get me wrong. Women do an incredible job. I appreciate y'all, but you're doing too much, bro. That's too much responsibility on a teacher, man. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, when the teacher does report that, they're going to go right to the government anyway. You know what I'm saying? For the free lunch. You dancing around in circles. You ain't making no sense, bro. You trying to beat around the bush, and it's looking bad.
Right, but I mean, I feel like we're pushing it far out to like specifics of it, bro. At the end of the day, my point of view on it is that it's, abortion is a far larger problem than starving children. Children don't starve in America. They may be hungry, but they don't starve. This isn't fucking people. It's not a famine going on. People are not dying because
they're not dying. But do you understand?
Like hypertension, obesity. There's much more obese kids than there are hungry kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the world's not perfect, dog. It's not utopia, bro. So it's like, I get, and then I'm a capitalist, dog. I'm not in support of the government coming out taking care of everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to oppose it. Like,
but you want the government to get involved and stop abortions.
Woo! Damn, bro, this boy getting cooked. He getting cooked, man. Shit, I smell something in the eye right now. Yo, what's going on?
I never said I don't give a fuck about what anybody does with abortion.
But did you say it's a bigger problem?
What?
Yeah, I said it's a bigger problem. But I didn't give a solution to it. I know it's a problem. But I never said what I want to do about it. I could care less. Like, it is what it is, dog. This life is
So
fucking
what you
hard.
arguing about it
Some
for?
children are born in fucked up circumstances.
What's your argument?
It is
You
what
don't
it is.
Yeah,
care,
but see,
bro.
that's the thing. I think a lot of people would hear your stance or hear Charlie Kirk's stance and say, you guys aren't the best people because you don't seem to care about making sure that other people in society are okay, right? You guys are more focused on being capitalists and taking care of yourselves, which is okay. Do that. But if people want to look at you and say, well, you guys spread hate out there or you guys spread selfishness, I think that's okay. I think a lot of people allowed to do that.
I never said that was a problem. I said people can say whatever the fuck they want to say. My issue with people was celebrating his death, like championing pom-pom and that shit. That's the epitome of evil to me.
How was that gonna be the epitome of evil to you, though? It's like people have selective outrage, bro. When it was Trayvon Martin, it was the Trayvon challenge. Oh, and people were doing little meme with the Skittles out on the sidewalk. That was funny to y'all. That y'all had a good laugh off of that. When what's that boy name? Charleston White was clowning on black folks and clowning on Nipsey Hussle and clowning on rappers. And clowning on the black community, that was fun. Y'all had a good laugh with that. You know what I'm saying? We can go down the line of all the black people that got killed, you know what I'm saying, over the past couple of years. Everything was a joke. Everything was funny. But now all of a sudden, you want people to feel remorse for somebody who didn't feel remorse for the people. It don't work like that, man. It don't work like that. And just because we don't feel remorse don't mean we evil, dog. You know what I'm saying? We evil. It is what it is.
That's the epitome of evil.
That's not a right or left.
You think it's more evil to celebrate that man's death than it is for that man to advocate for the fact that children don't get meals?
But they can get meals. Is that the only?
Damn, Abba cooking, dog.
The video you seen him talk about children.
I'm just saying. Someone dancing in the room. I think it's bad. No. I agree. I think it's bad that someone danced in the room and thought it was great that Charlie Kirk died. But I also think it's bad that you're out there openly advocating for kids to not get meals in school because we have an obesity problem. I think that's also bad. I think so.
Get meals in school. I'm advocating for kids to take advantage of the surplus of food available to them in different ways that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Stevie, he ain't seen a bigger picture, man. He think everybody got it. He think everybody rich. He think everybody came up with that silver spoon. He think everybody. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, you gonna have to fight for it. Everybody's life ain't perfect. Everybody ain't gonna have the same starting point. That part, it is what it is. But at the same time, if we claim to be the best country in the world, if we claim to be number one, and we're constantly bragging about how we the best in this X, Y, and Z, why can't we set up programs to help our children? Why can't we set up programs to help our veterans and be consistent with that? Why can't we set up things to help our people, you know what I'm saying, have better lives while we're here? Why can't we? Why shouldn't we do that? If everybody was a capitalist, bro, this whole country turned to shit, to be honest with you, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. No volunteers, nobody giving back, nobody helping out, not turning to your brother and say, hey, can I borrow 20? And him saying, I got you. Y'all crazy, man.
It's not on somebody to do it, bro. Like, you know, you're shitty parents. I get it, but we disagree on that perspective, dog. Like, you think that the government should step in and save the world?
It's not what he said.
I don't agree with that. I mean, if they do it, I'm not gonna contend it. I'm not do what you want to do, bro. But I understand Kirk's perspective in that.
We pay so much in tax dollars, and most of it goes to the military to do funding wars overseas. I don't think it's so crazy to say, hey man, take 1% of that budget and make sure these kids don't go hungry.
Damn, bro, I ain't seen that. This boy cooking.
Take another 1% of that budget and take care of veterans. But you know, like, maybe that's wrong. I just think it's crazy. It's me personally.
I wouldn't disagree with you with it, but I don't disagree with Kirk either. I mean, I don't think he should be painted as a demon for having that viewpoint.
I mean, I think it's pretty demonic to not want kids to have meals. Personally, that's me.
He never said he didn't want kids to have meals. Is that the only conversation you've seen Abba have discussing that topic?
When he was suggested a food program to make sure that kids who can't get access to good food or decent food or have malnutrition get food, he said, "No, that's fucking stupid. Let the parents do it."
Can you answer my question though? Was that the only video did you let that video play and see what else he said in regards to that discussion?
Yeah, I played it.
And what did he say?
He said that he thinks that the parents should take care of it. The state shouldn't be involved.
He said, pull it up right now. I've seen
You can pull it up, but that's what he said. He said the state should not be involved.
No, bro, you're a victim to the same thing everybody else going through, just getting sucked in by these reels, dog. He's named all these different avenues, these different ways of children to receive food. You're just
hold up. How does a hungry?
Oh man, not Stevie, not going out like this, bro. Damn, bro. Man, you got listen, man. That boy out exposing folks, man. I ain't gonna lie.
A kid get food.
I gave you one example.
What is it?
If he's at school and teachers are aware of what the fuck's going on and they see a damn child coming in there looking emaciated, I don't know. I don't know what teachers, but I've seen instances where teachers step in and get the correct party involved to help said children.
Okay, so you want the state to get involved to make sure that kid gets school? You literally just that's what you said. You want this? Do you know this?
I never said want. I said these resources are available to them.
But that's what your solution is, right?
That's not my solution. I'm giving you the fact that there's different avenues and resources for children to get food if they need it.
Okay.
I'm not saying what I want. I'm saying what's available to them. There's no reason to starve, dog.
All right. Hey, listen, we'll agree to disagree on this point. No reason for kids but statistically speaking, every year there's so many kids who are suffering from malnutrition. That's what the numbers say. We'll move on to the next point.
And there's so many people that die from car accidents, bro. Fucked up shit happens.
Bro, what does that have to do? That comparison is wild, bro. Only because manufacturers make improvements on cars every single quarter, every single year of the model of the car. They make safety improvements. They got better airbags, better, crash test results. They make better designs. Comparing that to a kid just trying to get some food is crazy, bro. Like, you gotta come into a facts, dog.
Like, we can't save everybody. We can't save everybody, bro. Like, it is.
But just because we can't save everybody doesn't mean we don't try.
But there's avenues for them to be saved, just maybe not with this school.
Yeah, yes, car accidents happen every year. Doesn't mean we don't try to make cars safer. Doesn't mean we don't make roads better.
And there's ways for children to get food.
Okay, man. I'm gonna disagree. I think that stance is crazy.
You don't think there's other ways for children to get food outside?
I don't know. Have you ever been a kid? You think kids just know where to get free food every day? You truly think kids know what the resources are? Like, what are we talking about, man?
I don't know what their day is, man, but maybe there's meetings or ways that teachers can express this to children to educate them on.
I don't understand as a grown man we can have that type of perspective. It's literally in our genetics to provide and protect. But then on the other hand, on the other side of that argument, once that kid goes through that rough life and the likelihood of him being a criminal increases dramatically. And then you'll judge that same kid that you didn't want the government to help out once that same kid starts committing crimes to put food in his mouth, man. You're being hypocritical, man. You gotta do better, man. Until next time, we out of here, man. Peace.